goes to three guys who together built a game-changing company millions of us just can't live without. You know you've made it big when your company name becomes a verb. That's what happened to the Google guys. Larry Page, Sergey Brin, and Eric Schmidt, their company so globally transformative, their fates so intertwined, that they jointly occupy a spot on the CNBC First 25. John Steinberg is the president of BuzzFeed and worked at Google for 2 years.
I think it's absolutely fair that the three of them get it put together. I would call each one of them in their own right a genius. So it really was like triple lightning in a bottle, those three people coming together.
Page and Brin met at Stanford University as PhD students. They created a new search engine, initially called Backrub, in 1996 as a research project. They eventually changed its name to Google, and a revolution was born. The company incorporated in 1998, and Eric Schmidt joined them as CEO 3 years later. Each has a very distinct role in running the company.
I think the three of them together is part of the secret recipe.
Larry is very much the technologist and architect of the Google system. It's called PageRank because his last name is Page. Sergey is very much the dreamer and the visionary, the person who thinks about outer space and self-driving cars and Google Glass and things of that nature. And Eric Schmidt was one of the great executives of Silicon Valley.
Three of them have worked and formed this partnership where they don't step on each other's toes. They all managed to have this partnership that has survived.
What distinguished Google search is its ability to incorporate advertising and make money, tons of it, from search results in a way no one had done before.
The big innovation with Google's advertising was it put the ad in front of you at the time you were looking for the thing to buy. That really was the magic.
What you're searching for is probably linked in some way to something you want to spend some money on. They figured out how to put the ads over to the side, eventually put them on top, and make them sort of like content.
Eventually, the company branched out, creating such commonly used products as Gmail, Google Maps, Google Earth, and Street View.
I've talked to, some other executives on their campus about just how big the data sets are that they have access to run experiments and figure out new products and ideas, and they are staggered by it compared to anything else that they've come into contact with.
But that ease of accessibility has led to criticism of Google's privacy practices.
If you're worried about the NSA knowing a lot about you, think about what's in Google's database. I mean, Google is America and the world's subconscious. I mean, all of our thoughts, the ones we're proud of and the ones we're not proud of, go into Google.
I think that Eric Schmidt has been incredibly outspoken, as a matter of fact, on privacy. I think he's more forthright and more outspoken on the topic than most. I think if anything, Eric's been a leader in telling people what's going on with their privacy.
In addition to innovation, Google has acquired close to 150 companies. Some of those acquisitions didn't work out so well, like the 2012 buy of the handset company Motorola Mobility. But most did, like Android, YouTube, and DoubleClick.
Can you imagine a world without Android now? Can you imagine how Google would be, how adversely they would be positioned if they didn't have Android as a wedge? Can you imagine if they didn't own YouTube? The ability to look into the future and say, we're doing amazing today, but if we don't take these big bets, we're going to be nowhere tomorrow. There are very few companies that are able to do that.
The company began with a $100,000 contribution from Andy von Bechtolsheim, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems, and then went public a decade ago with a value of $23 billion, is now worth nearly 20 times that. It's the third most valuable company in the world.
When you look at the tens of billions of dollars of cash they have on their balance sheet, if you don't take those big risks, you become a company that gets lost in the sands of time, right? Because you're not innovating and trying enough different things. So you have to, because they're doing outsized revenue. You need to take outsized risks.
With those risks and growth come evolution. Schmidt has taken a step back and is now the company's executive chairman and advisor. Page has replaced him as CEO, while Brin remains ever the dreamer. The Google guys, the three musketeers of search, and so much more.